Hey Latchkey Kids and Drive-In Mutants, I'm Lady Shasha, Mistress of the Snark, and I'll be your camp counselor for the duration of this Friday the 13th marathon. Today we're starting with Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D. And I'm going to take these off because I can't really see with them on when I'm not looking at 3D, so there's that. This is one of the most fun sequels. This is also the sequel where Jason got his iconic hockey mask. He also ditched the coveralls for jeans and a dark blue shirt, and this time he's played by Richard Brooker. This starts the same as Part 2 with a flashback sequence of the last 5 to 10 minutes of the previous film. The lady with the hair rollers is one of my favorite horror movie victims, though it does annoy me that she uses heat and set rollers as if they're overnight rollers. What I like most about this movie is the 3D. Even before Jason shows up, there's a pole, a TV antenna, and a snake jumps out of the screen at us. Let's talk about Shelley. He is so annoying. I doubt that anyone would invite him anywhere. The way I would have fixed this is wrote that he is the owner of the van. Then they would have a reason to invite him. He has a van. I like the addition of the Latina character. Shout out to that. I really love the scene where you can hear her mother yelling at her from inside the house. I also like the random biker trio. I'm calling them a trio because there's not enough of them to be an actual gang. I don't know if there's like a limit to where gang starts, but 3 is definitely not enough people for you to call yourself a gang. Jason Voorhees is much more swole in this one, but I think it's mostly padding. Still, Richard Brooker gave Jason a lot of personality in this. The final girl was a little bit annoying, but she acted sufficiently disturbed by the end of this movie. I watch this one yearly. It's campy, it's silly at times, but I love the 3D gimmick. It adds a certain dynamic to the killings. This sequel is solid in my opinion. I'll be back in a moment to talk about Part 4. Tommy Jarvis in the house. Oh, hey. Get myself back together. Let's talk about Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Once again, it starts with a recap of the first 3 movies. And Richard Brooker returns to play Jason again. But Jason has not yet gotten his iconic mechanic coverall. In this, he has gray pants and a dark blue top. Notice how I like to keep up with Jason's fashion. Anyways, this has one cool hospital sequence that reminds me of Halloween 2 a little bit. The fatalities are more extreme in this. In the previous 3 movies, Jason would maybe slice a throat or stab someone a little bit. In this, when he slices a throat, he also twists the head a whole 180 degrees, and I approve. Or he'll stab and then drag the knife up the person's body 12 inches. That's what I'm talking about. You ever notice how in Crystal Lake it's always cold enough to wear a sweater, but warm enough to skinny dip? Also, someone always has a car that doesn't work properly. In Part 2, the final girl had a hoopty. In Part 3, the biker siphoned the gas out of the van. And of course, in Part 4, they established that Tommy's sister also has a hoopty. Having working cars in a Friday the 13th movie? I think the fuck not. Speaking of Tommy, this is the introduction of the character Tommy Jarvis, who loves to make his masks. I actually think that he might have been designed after Tom Savini, and that's why his name is Tommy. Other characters that are of note. Can we talk about McFly's dancing? I happen to have been watching this with my 93-year-old retired nurse grandmother, who worked for UConn Medical Center for 30 years. So she has seen some things. She said he looked like he had a disease called St. Vitus dance. I had to Google it. The final girl in this is so stupid. Really stupid. Jason is killing her friend and she's standing there with a machete in her hand. With a machete in her hand. With a machete in her hand! I did like it when she finally hit Jason over the head with a TV, like, welcome to prime time, bitch. Of course, the best part was when Tommy macheted Jason in the head. And they did that kind of close-up of Jason's head sliding down the machete. It was beautiful. As a gore connoisseur, I can say that the animatronic head used for that scene is a work of art. Have practical effects improved since then? Maybe. But let's appreciate how good this was for the time period in which it was released. As you know, this was supposed to be the final chapter. And I've heard that the director of this was a little bit pissed off when Part 5 came out. A good thing about these classic slasher movies that I think a lot of new slasher movies miss is the runtime. These are relatively short. They top out at 85 to 95 minutes maximum. Part 1, 95 minutes. Part 2, 87 minutes. Part 3, 95 minutes. Part 4, 91 minutes. If you're doing supernatural horror or a mystery thriller or a story that is more involved and complex, it's okay to let that unfold in 2 hours. No problem. If your premise is killers killing teens, don't try to stretch that beyond 85 to 95 minutes. It's too thin of a premise, and you're just stretching it out for time and boring all of us. This is one of the best Part 4s of any series ever made. I think it's just this and Rocky 4. I challenge you to name me other Part 4s that are as good as Friday the 13th Part 4 and Rocky 4. Anyways, can you tell that I'm enjoying myself watching these series? This may be an unpopular opinion, but I like Friday the 13th better than Halloween. There, I said it. Anyways, don't take my word for it. Watch it for yourself. Just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Thank you for making it to the end of this video, and stay tuned for parts 5 and 6. Bye.
Hey, Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew?
Hey, did you know that I work for tips now? You could hit me up on Venmo or Cash App. While I'm happy to receive the type of coin that jingles, I'd love to receive the type that folds. Somebody show these people where the subscribe button is. They don't know what they're doing.